Basically, you could diss me all you want, but I'm gonna get paid. Because that's why I say Dre Day is only Eazy's payday.
N.W.A., the unapologetically violent and sexist pioneers of gangsta rap, are in many ways the most notorious group in the history of rap. They emerged during the late 80s, a period when Public Enemy had redefined hardcore rap by infusing it with intelligence, revolutionary themes, and social consciousness. However, N.W.A. took a different path, leveraging the musical innovations of Public Enemy while diverging in their message. Rather than promoting social awareness, N.W.A. celebrated the violent and hedonistic aspects of street life, expressing these themes in raw, explicit lyrics. Initially, their aggressive approach was seen as a serious and provocative commentary, even leading the FBI to caution N.W.A.'s record company. However, after Ice Cube's departure in late 1989, the group's direction shifted towards self-parody. EAZY-E's distinctive high-pitched delivery turned urban nightmares into what seemed like comic book fantasies. Nonetheless, these fantasies resonated with a core audience of suburban teenagers, and N.W.A.'s popularity soared. Despite their success, internal conflicts prevented the group from recording a third album. Eventually, they disbanded when producer Dr. Dre embarked on a solo career. Although N.W.A. was no longer active, their influence persisted throughout the 90s and across the hip-hop genre as a whole. Their impact extended from their signature funky, bass-heavy beats to their exaggerated lyrical style, leaving an indelible mark on the evolution of hip-hop. But how did it all start? Here's the story of EAZY-E. Eric. EAZY-E. Wright was born on September 7, 1984 in Compton, California, a tough neighborhood within the Los Angeles metropolitan area. Attended Compton High School before dropping out. He eventually obtained a GED general equivalency diploma. He turned to drug dealing as a means of financial support and eventually used the earnings to establish his own rap label, Ruthless Records, in collaboration with music industry veteran Jerry Heller. However, his efforts to establish a prominent rap empire with a roster of successful artists faced challenges until he crossed paths with Dr. Dre, a member of the world-class Wreckin' Crew, and Ice Cube, both of whom began contributing songwriting talents to Ruthless. EAZY-E initially offered one of their collaborative songs, Boys N the Hood, to the artists signed with Ruthless, HBO. However, when HBO declined the offer, EAZY-E, along with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, formed N.W.A., an abbreviation for Niggas with Attitude. They recruited DJ Yella from the world-class Wreckin' Crew, along with the Arabian Prince and the DOC, to join the group. N.W.A.'s debut album, N.W.A. and the Posse, released in 1987, was primarily a party-oriented jam record that received relatively little attention at the time of its release. In the subsequent year, N.W.A. underwent a transformation when EAZY-E welcomed MC Ren into the group. This marked a significant shift in their musical direction, as they embraced many of the noisy and extreme sonic innovations, akin to those pioneered by Public Enemy. Concurrently, they adopted a self-consciously violent and dangerous lyrical stance. Late in 1988, N.W.A. delivered Straight Outta Compton, a vicious hardcore record that became an underground hit with virtually no support from radio, the press, or MTV. N.W.A. became notorious for their hardcore lyrics, especially those of F the Police, which resulted in the FBI sending a warning letter to Ruthless and its parent company, Priority, suggesting that N.W.A. should watch their step. EAZY-E seized this newfound success to release a solo project later that year, titled Easy Does It. This would become his only full-length album, eventually selling well over 2 million copies. After Ice Cube's departure from N.W.A. toward the end of 1989, partly due to disputes involving Jerry Heller's business tactics, EAZY-E assumed a more prominent role, handling significant rapping and songwriting responsibilities. This transformation was evident on N.W.A.'s 1991 album, Niggas for Life. However, EAZY-E's penchant for exaggerated vulgarity began to overshadow the group's initial claims of providing gritty inner-city narratives. Internal conflicts within the group led to N.W.A.'s dissolution in the summer of 1991, followed by a legal battle between Ruthless and Dr. Dre's newly established label, Death Row. EAZY-E alleged that Death Row's founder, Suge Knight, had coerced Ruthless into releasing Dre from his contract. According to legend, Knight threatened to kill Jerry Heller to ensure the contract was nullified. Although the case was ultimately dismissed, it fueled a bitter feud between Dre and EAZY-E that persisted for several years. Dre's groundbreaking solo debut, The Chronic, notably ridiculed EAZY-E during this period. E later released his solo EP titled 5150 Home for the Sick, which achieved solid sales, but did little to dispel his increasingly exaggerated and caricatured image. However, his true success during this period came from his role in managing the Ruthless label. Under his leadership, the label signed artists like Above the Law, the all-female group N.W.A, Hoes with Attitude, and eventually, the highly profitable Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. E addressed his ongoing feud with Dr. Dre on the 1993 EP, It's On, Dr. Dre 187 Yum Killa, which notably included a photo of Dre from his world-class Wreckin' Crew days, adorned in makeup and sequins. However, beyond the disses aimed at Dre, EAZY-E's musical output during this period seemed to lack substance. Despite maintaining healthy record sales, his artistic credibility was diminishing rapidly. Additionally, E faced criticism when, in early 1993, he expressed support for Theodore Briseno, an LAPD officer involved in the Rodney King beating. Later that year, he attended a Republican fundraiser, viewed by some as a betrayal of his roots. In early 1995, EAZY-E was admitted to the hospital due to respiratory issues, initially believing he had developed asthma. However, the diagnosis was far graver. He had contracted AIDS. EAZY-E courageously disclosed his condition to the public shortly after the diagnosis, earning admiration for his straightforwardness. Tragically, just a few weeks later, on March 26, 1995, he succumbed to the disease. This was cause to a lot of controversy, some suggesting his death was suspicious, some fingers pointing to Dre and Suge Knight as the culprits. EAZY-E had been working on an album titled Straight Off the Streets of Motherfuckin' Compton, which was released posthumously later that year in an unfinished form. In 2002, on the 7th anniversary of his passing, previously unreleased material from the Ruthless vaults was unveiled as the EP Impact of a Legend, accompanied by a DVD. More posthumous compilations followed. In 2015, the critically acclaimed N.W.A. biopic Straight Outta Compton hit theaters. The film, which focused on the formation and ascent of the influential Gangsta rap group, was dedicated to EAZY-E. It went on to gross over $200 million worldwide. Regarding his relationships, he is a father of 11 with 8 different women. EAZY-E ultimately did marry Tamika Woods, whom he met at a nightclub in 1991. They married just 12 days before his death in 1995. Tamika is the mother of 2 of EAZY-E's children, Dominic and Daija. Following E's passing, Ruthless Records came under the control of his widow, Tamika. In 2017, she made headlines when she filed a lawsuit against her stepson, Eric Darnell, also known as Lil Eazy-E. The lawsuit centered on allegations of trademark infringement related to the use of the names Ruthless Records and N.W.A. According to the lawsuit, Eric purportedly established a corporation called N.W.A. LLC and attempted to secure a trademark for Ruthless Records Inc. However, this trademark application was rejected by the U.S. Patent Office on the grounds of being confusingly similar to his late father's Ruthless Records. In conclusion, EAZY-E, often referred to as the godfather of gangsta rap, was a pioneering figure in the world of hip-hop. His distinctive style, unapologetic lyrics, and charismatic presence left an indelible mark on the genre. Despite his relatively short life, his contributions to music, particularly as a founding member of N.W.A. and the head of Ruthless Records, continue to influence and shape the hip-hop landscape. EAZY-E's legacy endures, reminding us of the power of music to challenge societal norms and provoke change.